A very good day to all my listeners all across the world. This is George Nathaniel for you, and welcome to my podcast, which is George Nathaniel. As I always do, I come back with very simple and relevant podcasts that relates to each one of you. My podcast is all about happiness, it's all about progress, and it's all about wellness in life. So, what is the topic of my podcast for today? Well, the topic and the dedication for today's podcast is to all the special people all across the globe. So, the topic is life's ups and downs. Well, life definitely has its ups and downs, but how much do we actually make of it? So, let us first understand the most important aspect of life's ups and downs. I think the most important aspect for anyone or each one or everyone to understand, to relate, and to believe is that if we truly want something, we need to actually have that self belief that yes, we can achieve it. So if you start with belief, it's halfway achieved, halfway through the landmark, and most importantly, it leads to a new journey, to a new destination, to a new landmark. And eventually, we actually obtain whatever we target towards our goals. So today, before I get to my podcast, before I get to the takeaways, I would like to share two examples that I came across very recently. And these examples made such a big meaning in all my efforts in life. Well, to begin with, people talk about a bar of gold, but I recently read this content on an iron bar. So the content goes like this, that if we just look at a iron bar, the core value of the iron bar could be approximately 1,000, maybe $100. It's a normal sized iron bar, which is about $100. Now, when we look at options, or we consider to invent, or we consider to add that additional value to that iron bar, looking at newer propositions in life, what are the few things that we can look at? Well, we could use that iron bar to make a horseshoe that straight away converts the value from $100 to 2x. Another option is we could look at converting that iron bar into sewing needles. So that straight away will take the value up by 500x. And what if we look at converting that iron bar into watch springs? That takes up the value by more than 5000x. So, like I said in the beginning, it's very, very important for us to believe. And out here, the value is not what we just think or what we make of it. The value is where we sit down, we relate that what best can be made of it. The value, can always be made better. The value can always, can always be greater than whatever we ever imagined. So it's very, very important for us, like I say in all my podcasts, is to sit down and evaluate how best can we make of values, or how best can we make of situations, or how best can we make of opportunities, or how best can we make of things all around us in life. And when we talk about life, what we should understand, relating to the topic where we say life's ups and downs, we need to understand that we cannot hold on to tough moments. The sooner we sit down and evaluate, the sooner we start moving on, and the sooner we start covering newer terrains or newer grounds or happier moments or better moments in time. Something that we've been hearing all through our life. Everyone is born differently, and yet everybody has equal opportunities to make the best of their mark in life. It is important that everyone sets a mark in their own platform. Everyone sets a mark across their own goals, and everyone makes something of their own life. Very often we hear this trending saying that to think out of the box. I would say it's not just thinking out of the box, but yes, it is moving into unfamiliar zones to achieve newer goals. So if we are ready to take a risk, if we are ready to take new responsibilities, if we are ready to move across unknown terrains, and if you're ready to take up bigger challenges, it will definitely take us to higher moments in our lives. From me, I would say, like I said in the beginning, belief. I started with belief. And the next thing that I can tell you is that for a person, for an individual, for anyone, for them, the most important score in life should be to be happy. We should sit down, relax, or any moment of time and say, yes, I am happy. That itself gives us the highest score. So, if we are looking at some takeaway in life, if you're looking at covering over our ups and downs in lives, we have to be ready to move out of our comfort zones. So, let me relate to the second content that I read that was very meaningful. Well, when we look up to the sky, most of the time we see eagles flying high and above the sky and flying all by themselves. Have you ever thought that what happens when a storm comes? When a storm comes, most of us actually try and look for shelter. This applies to each one of us all across. But what does an eagle do when the storm comes? Well, the eagle uses the storm to lift itself higher and, of course, to soar above the storm. And most importantly, it uses the storm to guide and rest its wings. So when an eagle is gliding, when you see an eagle gliding up, you can see it's flying above the storm, just using the wind of the storm to glide all across. So there are a lot of learnings, a lot of takeaways that we can relate to our lives. And when I mentioned the eagle, there are two other important learnings from an eagle. When I went down and I did this research, what I realized is these eagles are the biggest taskmasters. Well, what do they actually do? If you look at an eagle's nest, what do they do in the nest? They remove all the feathers or all the soft grass in the nest to make the little ones uncomfortable. Why do they actually do this? Because they are actually preparing the little ones to fly out sooner in time. So, as the little ones grow and get more uncomfortable with the hardness of the nest, they wait for the wings to grow out fast so that they can fly out. So, this is a very important learning for us. And when we're talking about our comfort zones, another aspect of life's ups and downs, what is important is to understand that with time we need to reinvent. With time we need to look at betterment. With time we need to face bigger challenges. So when I talk about the eagle, what does the eagle do when it ages? It actually reinvents itself. It chooses to fly away to a remote place. It plucks out its feathers breaks its claws, breaks its beak, and stays there until the feathers grow back again, until the claws grow back again, until the beak grows back again. And this time it gets ready to start flying higher than before. So, this is a very, very important learning for us. It's very, very important for us to understand that to grow in life, we need to take challenges. To grow in life, we need to face ups and downs. And most importantly, we need to reinvent ourselves in life. So, when I talk about this particular topic of ups and downs, I always say to relate to our own personal lives, our professional lives, our goals in life. So, what are the few takeaways that we can think about or relate to when I talk about the topic of life's ups and downs? I would say number one is to evaluate the value proposition over our efforts and commitments in life. So, the more we evaluate the value proposition, the more value we add over our efforts. Next, we need to understand that time and evaluation demands difference in efforts and focus. We can't use the same efforts and focus for the same things. Sometimes there are things that needs more efforts and greater focus, and we need to prepare for that. And challenges are also similar. Bigger challenges would need greater effort and greater focus. Next is to learn over time with the readiness to reinvent. Why do we say learn? Learn means to reinvent. So it's very, very important for us to reinvent as we learn and grow over time. Next is something that we've heard all through our lives. Life's ups and downs are never permanent. So we need to prepare equally for both situations. And most importantly, what we need to understand that life's moments, make the best of life's moments, make the best of life's opportunities, make the best of life. Understand that each one of us has an equal opportunity to leave our own legacy, to leave an impression in lives. So if we work on our individual best, if we add that extra value to our life, if we add an extra value to our contribution all across lives, each one of us will definitely leave their own legacy and the impression in life. So, like I say, all my podcast is all about wellness. My podcast is all about sharing good things, sharing good experiences. So, listeners, as you'll sit down and make a note of all the things that y'all can do, all the new goals that y'all can achieve, understand that life has its ups and downs. We need to start with belief, grow with reinventing ourselves, and finish off by living life. Most importantly, leaving a legacy and leaving an impression across time. I hope you like listening to my podcast. This is George Nathaniel. I also have my blog website which is called georgenathaniel.net. I wish you all beautiful moments over the day. Thank you so much. This is George Nathaniel.